My beloved child, do not let one closed door make you believe that the whole sky has been shut over your life. Rejection is not the final sentence, nor is it the conclusion about your worth. There are times when you are set aside not because I have forgotten you, but because I am separating you from places that cannot contain what I have placed within you. There are people who do not recognize you, do not believe in you, do not support you, and do not see what is quietly growing in your life. But their vision is not the measure of heaven. I do not choose you according to the applause of the crowd, nor do I withdraw my calling simply because others have looked down on you. When you are rejected, I do not stand far away watching your pain. I stand near to teach you the difference between the closed door of man and my hidden guidance. Understand this: there are certain no's in your life that are actually bridges bringing you closer to what I have prepared. If everyone had accepted you too early, perhaps you would have stopped in a small room, while I wanted to lead you into a wider sphere of influence. If everyone had understood you from the beginning, perhaps you would have relied on their approval instead of learning to cling firmly to me. Without seasons of being misunderstood, you would hardly know what true faithfulness looks like. I use even delays, even silence, even the times when you are not chosen, to form within you a steadiness that does not depend on praise, does not break under criticism, and does not change direction because of doubtful eyes. You were not created to live by the fragile approval of others. You were called to walk under my light. Therefore, when you see people doubting you, do not be quick to grow bitter. When they do not walk with you, do not hastily think that you have failed. When they do not open the door, do not pound on that door until you wound yourself. There are people who cannot walk with you to the end of the journey, because they are only permitted to appear for a short stretch in order to reveal what you need to learn: patience, humility, discernment, and loyalty. I do not want you to become closed off because you were once rejected. I want you to become deeper, gentler, and wiser. You may hurt, but do not let pain become your chain. You may grieve, but do not let sorrow distort my image within your heart. I am still the one who leads the way. Even when you are standing before a turn in the road and do not yet understand why you must pass through it. Remember Moses. When he stood up to defend the oppressed, he was not immediately welcomed as a deliverer. The very people he wanted to defend once questioned his authority, causing him to leave the familiar and live through a long season in the wilderness. But I did not see the wilderness as the end for him. I used that lonely place to quiet his impulsiveness, to train his listening, and to transform a man who once acted in his own strength into a man who trembled before my presence. Then, when the time was fulfilled, I called him from the burning bush that was not consumed and entrusted him with a mission greater than all his old wounds. Do you see? The first rejection could not erase what I had appointed. It only pushed Moses into the school of preparation, so that when he returned, he no longer relied on status or eloquence, but on me. In the same way, I want you to look at Esther with new eyes. Do not see her only as the one placed upon the throne in beauty and honor. See her as someone who carried a fragile identity, loss, and the absence of the guarantees that the world often considers advantages. Among hundreds of young women brought into the palace, she could have been seen as just one small face in the crowd, but in my eyes, she was never blended in. I saw her before the palace called her name. I knew her before the royal crown was placed upon her head. I preserved every step, every encounter, every arrangement that seemed accidental, to bring her to the right position at the right moment. When danger cast its shadow over my people, she was not merely a queen in a palace. She became a doorway through which my mercy and protection were revealed. What the world calls luck, in my hands, is holy, divine arrangement. But my child, Remember that Esther was not placed in a high position only to enjoy her own safety. She had to face a moment of choice, remain silent to preserve her comfort, or step out in faith and become a voice for those in danger. That is what I am teaching you as well. What I give you is not meant only for you. Your healing will support others. Your maturity will open a path for others. The tears you once shed will help you bow before the pain of others with true compassion. I did not allow you to pass through trials merely so you would have a touching story. I use that story as a lamp, so that when the appointed time comes, your life may become an answer to someone who is praying for help. Let me also remind you of Joseph, the one rejected by his own brothers and sold away, as though the dream within his heart were something contemptible. If you look with ordinary eyes, it was a chain of injustice, betrayed, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. But I was quietly leading every step, not allowing the evil of men to have the authority to write the final chapter. The pits into which people pushed Joseph became the very stairways I used to raise him to a place where he could save many from famine. Do you see? Sometimes the thing that hurts you most is the secret road leading you to the place where I want to use you most powerfully. Rejection cannot bury the promise if I have placed my hand upon that promise. So do not despise the season when you are not yet recognized. Do not grieve because, for now, your name has not been called in the room you once longed to enter. I have other rooms, other tables, other encounters, and other appointed times that you cannot yet see. What matters is not who is overlooking you, but whether you are still keeping your heart upright before me. What matters is not who does not believe in you, but whether you continue to believe that I know your path. When you are faithful in the hidden place, I am building within you the foundation for the place of light. When you are humble in the small day, I am preparing you for greater responsibility. When you still choose love after being wounded, you are proving that rejection no longer rules your heart. My beloved child, listen to this with both reverence and tenderness in your heart. I have placed 3 words into your hands, not for you to store away as a beautiful memory, nor to speak only in moments of weakness and then forget when a new day comes. These 3 words have been given to you as a seal, as an undying lamp, as a staff to guide you through the valley of uncertainty. When you declare, God is with me, you are not merely saying a comforting sentence. You are proclaiming again the true order of your life. You are drawing your mind back to the unshakable rock. You are reminding the deepest part of yourself that every fierce wind, every lie, and every hidden fear has no right to rule over you, because you do not walk in abandonment. I am with you, not as a distant idea, but as the one who sustains your breath, lifts your steps, and covers every path you take with loving shadow. There will be times when you need those 3 words more than food, more than the comfort of human voices, more than the evidence your eyes long to see. For when darkness surrounds you, the first thing attacked is often not your outward circumstances, but the awareness within you that I, enemy, always wants you to believe that you are alone, that I am silent because I have gone away, that your tears fall without anyone noticing. But every time you lift your voice and say, God is with me, you are closing the door against that deception. You are raising a wall of light against the arrows, trying to pierce your mind. You are pulling your heart out of chaos and placing it under my covering. Those words may not make your circumstances disappear immediately, but they remind you to whom you belong. And when you remember that, the storm is no longer allowed to define you. My child, those 3 words are a weapon, but a weapon of peace. They are not given so that you may proudly stand against others, but so that you may stand firm against the darkness that wants you to doubt. My love, they are not a spell for you to control heaven according to your will. but a key that helps you open your heart to the presence that has always been there. Each time you speak them in faith, a holy arrangement begins to move within you. Fear retreats. Confusion grows calm. Courage awakens. And light enters the rooms once locked by anxiety. Understand that the words you speak in faith are not small. Your mouth may tremble. Your breath may break. Your eyes may still be wet. But if those words are placed in me, they carry the weight of covenant, the fragrance of surrender, and the power of a heart that chooses to believe while it has not yet seen. Do not wait until you feel strong to declare those words. Say them when you are weak. Say them when you do not understand. Say them when you are standing before a closed door. Say them when others turn their backs. Say them when the night feels longer than you expected. Say them not to display toughness, but to remind yourself that you have a refuge. When everything around you breaks apart, those words are the cord that keeps you connected to me. When the things you once relied on are taken away, those words become the anchor that keeps you from drifting. When your mind is pulled toward dark possibilities, those words are the bell calling you back to truth. I do not require you to feel peace first before you speak. Often, it is precisely when you speak, while trembling, that peace begins to make a path inside you. Remember the story of Daniel in the lion's den. He did not enter that place because his life lacked protection, but because his faithfulness disturbed the darkness. When the entrance of the den was sealed, human eyes could see only an ending, but in the spiritual realm, I had already sent my preservation before the claws of the lions could come near. Daniel had no army beside him, no stone wall around him, no king's hand powerful enough to pull him out that very night. But he had something greater. He had me with him, and my presence turned that terrifying place into a testimony, turned the den that seemed like a grave into a high platform where my name was glorified. Do you see? I do not always keep you from every dark den, but I can enter it with you. Silence what wants to devour you, and bring you out with greater clarity than before. Therefore, when you say, God is with me, say it as one standing in covenant, not as one begging from outside the gate. You are not a stranger before me. You are my child. Those words place the crown back upon your faith, rebuild the walls around your thoughts, and open a passage to heaven even while you are still walking on earth. Others may not understand why you still stand firm. They may not see the silent battles you have passed through. They may see only the ordinary appearance on the outside and not know how many times I have kept you from collapsing. But you know, and I know, every time you choose to speak those words, you add another stone to the fortress within you. A fortress not built by human strength, but by trust refined over the years. Do not underestimate holy repetition. There are words that need to be spoken many times, not because I forget, but because you easily forget when you are in pain. There are truths that need to be repeated again and again, not because they are weak, but because your heart is being trained to take deeper root. When morning comes, speak those words so the new day may be placed under my light. When noon grows heavy, speak those words so your work does not swallow your peace. When night falls, speak those words so loneliness has no authority to magnify itself. Let those 3 words become the rhythm of your prayer, the mantle covering your mind, and the clear stream washing the dust of the road from your heart after weary days. Then you will realize that those words do not only change the way you face trials, they also change the way you see yourself. You will stop calling yourself forgotten. You will stop allowing old failure to name your future. You will stop living as someone who must carry everything alone. When you know that I am with you, you can walk slowly without panic, wait without despair, let go without breaking, and begin again without shame. My presence does not make you a person who never meets storms, but it makes you a person whose direction cannot be stolen by the storm. You may hurt, but you will not be destroyed. You may cry, but you will not be drowned. You may be opposed, but you will not be removed from my hand. So, my beloved child, keep those 3 words as one keeps a precious jewel. Do not let them rest on your lips without touching your heart. Let them enter every thought, every decision, every step, every encounter, and every changing season of your life. When you step into the unknown, say, God is with me. When you face what is beyond your strength, say, God is with me. When no one understands your whole story, say, God is with me. And know that each time you speak this in faith, heaven is not indifferent. I hear, I preserve, I act in ways wiser than what you can see. I was with you yesterday in the things you overcame. I am with you today in the things you are facing, and I will be with you tomorrow in the things you have not yet prepared for. Be at peace, my child, for wherever my presence is, that place is never a place where you are abandoned. My beloved child, when you set foot in unfamiliar lands, when before your eyes paths open where your own footprints have never been, do not let the strangeness make your heart shrink back. New things do not always come to test your courage. Sometimes they come as a door I have opened, so you may learn to see life with wider, clearer, deeper eyes. There are lands you do not yet know, people you have not yet met, sounds you have never heard, silences you have not yet understood. But in all these things, I am still present. I am not only with you in familiar places where you feel safe and in control, I also go before you into unfamiliar places, preparing every small sign, every encounter, every ray of light, and every lesson hidden beneath the ordinary clothing of life. Do not think that only great events carry my calling. I often teach you through very gentle things, a sudden breeze that softens your heart, an early morning bird song that awakens hope, a kind glance from a stranger, an empty road that gives you the chance to listen to yourself again, a peaceful afternoon reminding you that life is not measured only by what you achieve, but also by what you know how to treasure. There are small joys you once overlooked because you were too busy with great things. There are sorrows you once wanted to deny because you feared facing them. But I want you to understand that every experience, whether peaceful or painful, you can become a holy classroom if you enter it with humility. I do not allow anything in your journey to become meaningless when you place it in my hands. So, slow down a little, my child. Do not rush to judge a season simply because it is different from what you expected. Do not quickly call a path wrong simply because it does not resemble the route you imagined. Sometimes I lead you through a strange place to remove old ways of seeing from you. Sometimes I place you before a new landscape to soften the areas of your heart that have grown dry and hardened. Sometimes I allow you to meet the unexpected so you will remember that the world I created still holds much beauty you have not yet touched. Many times you prayed for me to open a way, but when the way opens in a new form, you become afraid. I do not blame you for that. I know your heart needs time to adapt, but I want you to keep walking, not with blind recklessness, but with gentle trust that my hand is still covering you. Learn to listen, but not only to the clear sounds outside. Listen to the quiet peace I place within you when you stand before a right decision. Listen to the gentle warning when a path seems attractive but does not bring purity to your heart. Listen even to the silences, for I do not always teach you through noise. There are things I pour into you through stillness, through light spread across the ground, through the steady breath of an ordinary day, through the feeling of being sheltered even when you have not yet seen any evidence before your eyes. True listening is not merely waiting for a thunderous voice from heaven, but learning to recognize my presence in small, subtle, and enduring signs. When you look up at the night sky, do not merely count the stars as distant spots of light. Let your heart be reminded that I am the one who holds that vast expanse, and I am also the one who bends down to care for every quiet step you take. The stars are not only beautiful because they shine, they are beautiful because they stand in the right place, within the order I have arranged. You are the same. You do not need to resemble anyone else to become precious. You do not need to force yourself into another person's orbit to prove your worth. I have placed within you a journey of your own, a rhythm of your own, a season of blooming of your own. Some are called to move quickly. Some are taught to move slowly. Some shine in the crowd. Some quietly light the way where few people see. But in my eyes, no journey is considered insignificant when it is lived with trust and sincerity. Do you remember the story of Abraham? When I called him to leave what was familiar, I did not immediately give him the entire map of the future. He received only an invitation to walk, a promise greater than his understanding, and a road that opened one portion at a time. He left the old home, the old security, the limits he had once thought defined his life, and stepped into the land I would show him. The wonderful thing is that in that journey, whose destination was not yet clear, he learned to know me more deeply. He built altars along the way, not because everything had become perfect, but because he knew the one who led him was faithful. Do you see? Sometimes the unexplored land is not the place where you lose yourself, but the place where you find your most original faith again. When you can no longer hold every detail firmly, you begin to learn how to hold on to me. And in this way, every step you take can become a silent prayer. Every scene you encounter can become a page of the book I opened before you. Every person you pass by can carry a lesson about mercy, patience, gratitude, or awakening. Do not look down on brief encounters. Sometimes a simple word becomes a lamp for a dark day. Sometimes a delay saves you from something you do not yet know. Sometimes a sorrow helps you understand others more deeply, so that later, when you comfort someone, your words are no longer empty, but carry the warmth of one who has passed through the long night and been lifted by me. My child, I want you to live with a heart that still knows wonder. Do not let familiarity steal your ability to see miracles. A peaceful meal, a day when you still have strength to rise, a person who still remains beside you, an opportunity to begin again, a sky still open above your head. All of these are gifts you should not consider ordinary. When gratitude awakens, you will see that life is no longer merely a chain of tasks to complete, but a garden filled with my traces. Even when you pass through dry places, I can still cause a small flower to grow there to remind you that life has never left my hand. Therefore, enter new things with gentleness and wisdom. Let your eyes see, your ears hear, your heart feel, and your life respond. Do not fear unfamiliar seasons, for I do not send you into them alone. I am in the morning light that opens the way for you, in the night that shelters you from exhaustion, in the whisper that encourages you when you want to turn back, and in the deep peace that lets you know you are still being led. Every moment has value, not because it is always pleasant, but because I can use it to make you more mature, pure, steadfast, and rich in love. Keep walking. My beloved child, the world still holds many beautiful things I want to show you. And on every road, my gaze still watches over you with tenderness. My beloved child, do not be afraid when the ground beneath your feet suddenly begins to shake. For not every trembling is a sign of destruction. There are shakings that are permitted to happen so that temporary things may fall away and what is lasting may become more clearly revealed. You once thought that certain places, relationships, habits, and familiar securities were the fortress protecting you, but when they could no longer keep their old form, you began to realize that your true refuge is not found in things that can change. I do not lead you through seasons of trial in order to watch you collapse, but to refine you like gold placed in the fire, not to be consumed, but to become pure. Fire has no authority to devour what I have placed within you. It can only make brighter what belongs to life. Courage, endurance, and faith that I quietly planted in you before you even understood your journey. There are tears you thought had fallen only in silence, but I have kept them like holy seeds sown into deep soil. Not once have you sobbed in the night while I turned my face away. Not once have you tried to stand firm in pain without me seeing you. My child, I am not saying that the road you walk will always be covered with fragrant flowers and gentle sunlight, but I declare to you that darkness cannot rule your life. Wounds may slow you down, but they are not allowed to define you. Loss may make your heart tremble, but it cannot erase the promise I have placed upon your life. What you thought was an ending may only be a closed door before I open a wider, deeper, more beautiful path, one you will enter, not by your own strength, but by my gentle guidance. Therefore, when you step into a new season, do not bring only the expectation of pleasant things. Bring holy alertness as well, because my gift sometimes arrives in a form you did not expect. Sometimes I do not lead you along the road many people choose, but guide you through the narrow path, where the noise of the world fades, so you can hear my voice more clearly. Sometimes I do not answer immediately what you prayed for, because I am correcting your vision, expanding your inner capacity, and preparing you for what you are not yet mature enough to receive. Do not think delay is forgetfulness. I am never late for what belongs to you. I simply do not place great treasure into hands that still tremble with fear. So, I first teach you to stand firm, teach you to trust more deeply, and teach you to walk even when you have not yet seen the whole road. Remember the story of Gideon, the man who once hid in secret because of fear, thinking himself small and weak among a people under oppression. When I called him, he did not see in himself the shape of a mighty person. He only saw limitations, lowly family background, worry, and his own insufficiency. But I did not see him according to his self-doubt. I called him by what I had placed within him, not by what he was afraid of. I did not need a large army to prove my power. I reduced what men wanted to make many, so that the victory would not be attributed to human strength. Do you see? Sometimes I remove from you the very things you are leaning on, not to leave you empty, but to help you realize that if I am with you, even what is small can become an instrument of great glory. That story is not distant from you. In the moments when you feel you are not enough, I am still calling you by the name heaven has already known, the one who is lifted up, the one who is sent, the one who is preserved, the one who will overcome by my grace. My child, do not harden your heart when I redirect you, and do not lose heart when I ask you to wait a little longer. A heart that is tender before me is not a heart that breaks easily before every change, but a heart that knows how to bow low to be shaped, then rise again to obey. I want you to be both gentle and strong, both able to listen and able to move forward, both with eyes wet from holy feeling and feet steady on the long road. When I tell you to forgive, do not think it is a loss. That is the moment I am removing chains from within you. When I tell you to release something that was once familiar, do not think I am taking away your joy. That is the moment I am making room for something purer. When I tell you to go against the current, do not fear being alone, for the one who walks with me is never truly alone. I am nearer to you than you think. I am not present only in the hours when you feel strong, but also when you are tired, silent, and do not know how to pray. I am in the sudden peace that comes in the middle of confusion. I am in the small light that helps you take one more step when you have not yet seen the dawn. I am in the gentle support that keeps you from letting go, even when you once thought you had reached your final limit. You do not need to create perfection in order to be loved by me. You only need to return, open your heart, and allow me to continue my holy work within you. What I began, I will not leave unfinished halfway. There will come a time when you look back on this season of trial and understand that it did not come to bury you, but to deepen the foundation for a greater life. The things that once made you cry will become evidence of grace. The places that once made you tremble will become altars of gratitude. The doors that closed will help you recognize that I was protecting you from paths not meant for you. You will no longer see pain as your only enemy, because you will realize that I can turn even bitterness into a sweet spring. I will use every broken piece, every silence, every day when you thought you were delayed, to build within you a quiet yet radiant maturity. So keep walking with a steady heart. Do not walk like one pushed around by fate, but walk like one whose hand is held and guided by me. Do not only wait for a miracle at the end of the road. Recognize that I am also working miracles in every day when you still believe, still love, and still choose what is good even though your circumstances have not yet changed. The new season is not only the place where you receive blessing, but also the place where you become someone who can preserve that blessing with humility, wisdom, and faithfulness. I will be with you in what is unexpected, in what you do not yet understand, in what you are hoping for, and even in what you have not dared to name. The light I have placed upon you will not go out, because it was not kindled by human hands. Be at peace. My child, trials may come, but I have gone before you. I am with you now, and I will bring you through in peace.